Today we're going to talk about the other parts of ecosystem stuff that we didn't talk about yesterday. And I guess let's just sort of build up into it. We have they have that thing in the book that starts with atoms and it ends with the universe. And there's all sorts of stuff in between, and you had to do that. I'm not going to go through all of it because most of it, I don't know why they do this to you, honestly. So you had atoms, molecules, blah, 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 all the way up to, right, atoms, molecules, cells, and do they really do that? They go all the way through like organs and protoplasm. Yeah, okay. Let's skip all that because really, folks, I mean, you did that in biology, right? Cells, organs, organ systems, organisms. Let's start with organisms because really, that's what we're talking about. I would recommend it. I would recommend
you heard that?
Yes,
Okay.
I hear all. Ecosystems Part 2. How about that? Part 2. Okay, so organisms, right? Living things. They are individuals running around the earth and they want to eat things or take things in and they need energy and they all want to be happy. And that's all we have to say about that. So let's see, what was the next step up? Hold on.
I can pull it up.
No, I'm challenging myself. I'm trying to make this interesting for myself. What was it? Was community the next one up? Community? Anybody? You guys are looking at this. Organisms. Oh, populations. Right. Okay. All right. And populations. We know what organisms are. Somebody hit me with what a population is. This is what you all were supposed to do, and I want you to notice that I did not throw people out that did not complete it yet. I should. Ms. Hood was ready to receive you, but I want to just get this done, and then we have another thing that we're going to do. So let's just do this. Population. So population is what? A group of similar organisms living in the same place. Is that what we call that? So all right. So you have. I don't know. It's happy. And so, and a population is when you got a bunch of them and they're getting simpler and simpler. Okay, now they're starting to look like something else. Okay, and a lot more of them, that's population. So you have a group of them living together, like much like all of you. You're a population of students. So that's the next thing. And then a community, right? Is that the next? I think that's the next largest grouping. So here's the population. And then actually we'll just use this to build, we'll have this built on itself.
Yeah, communities is next.
All right, so communities is when you have all the other things that live in there. Plants and gigantic flowers that are as big as this thing, and trees. The shrubberies and oops. Trying to draw a bat. I think I just drew it upside down. Yep.
Yeah.
Bats.
And
the, I don't know, rabbits.
That's a huge bat.
Yes, the bat is pretty gigantic and it's dive bombing whatever this thing is. Right, so then you have a community. You have a bunch of different things living together in the same place. It's place oriented. And then you have an ecosystem. And what do we need to think about as far as adding in complexity for an ecosystem? What other factors do I have to consider? When I want to define something as a particular ecosystem, what do I need to be thinking about? Sorry, I'm looking for a blue marker. I'll be right back. There we go.
What's the question?
Thank you. That's a good question.
Good
question. The question is, what do I have to add to this to make it an ecosystem?
Dead things.
Dead things. Okay, well, dead things.
Non-living things.
Okay, dead things. Decomposing things, that's what you're getting at, like decomposing stuff and
Interactions.
ground and circle of life, right? Okay. What's that? What did you say?
Exchange of materials and transforming energy.
Okay, exchange of materials, transforming energy. So, all right. Well, we've got exchange of materials. We got dead stuff. We have stuff here. Let's have this thing eating a rabbit. There we go. Exchange of materials. By the way, when you do a food web, the arrow is always going towards the thing that's eating the other thing. That's the way it works. You would think it would go the other way, that they would be eating the rabbit, but it actually goes like that. Anyway, so movement of energy. What else should I put in here then? How about the sun? Why not? Okay, let's see. Now, this is, what do we got? We have a forest. Looks like we have a forest. We got rabbits, we got bats, we've got whatever that is, and we've got grasses and flowers. It's not a desert, it's not the ocean, it's not the tropical rainforest, because then we'd have a lot more tropical plants and probably snakes and poison dart frogs. Hold on, let me see who this is. All right, folks, so the other thing that we need to make this an ecosystem is it's the interaction of all these living things with non-living things. Biotic and abiotic. Yesterday we said living and non-living things. Now we're going to say biotic and abiotic because that's the words that were in there and I forgot to use them. Biotic, living. Non-living, right? Living and non-living things. And so what do we mean? What are the non-living things in an ecosystem? What am I talking about? What am I talking about? What could I possibly mean?
Dead things. Yeah, dead plants.
No, we formerly, you're talking about formerly living things. No, I mean things that never were alive. Things,
Water.
the components of an ecosystem that are abiotic are things like, rivers. Let's see. Okay, here's the river going along. This is the shore here. And here's the river. I suck at drawing things that have any kind of perspective, but that's water. And it's moving. Okay, so there's that, but there's not just that. Let's think, there's also
Cloud.
precipitation. So how much precipitation does this place get a year? That makes it a certain kind of ecosystem. If it gets 3 centimeters of rain a year, maybe it's a desert. If it gets 300 centimeters of rain a year, maybe it's a tropical rainforest. They have the same temperature, so it's stuff like that makes the difference. So do you have sort of partial sun some of the time, or do you have blazing sun all the time? So when you're talking about that, you're talking about temperature, abiotic, so temperature, precip, also the kind of soil that you have. So temperature, precipitation, the soil quality. Right? Is it sandy? Is there a lot of nutrients in it? What you guys talking about?
Ethan was being mean.
Uh-huh. Anyway, I know that this is not as interesting as that. I understand that. But it is what I'm doing. It's what we're doing. And the longer you guys do that, the longer it takes me to do this. Anyway, temperature, precipitation, soil quality, the general geology, other stuff like that. I can't think of any other examples. I really can't think of any other examples of abiotic stuff. But so all right. So there's that. Let's see. Woo. What did I forget? Hold on. I want to look up one thing before I talk about it. Okay. And then a habitat is just the place where a particular population lives or a particular type of organism lives. And the niche is the particular set of physical and material inputs that an organism lives in, like a niche for, something that lives in a hole in a tree or whatever. That's, with particular kind of nutrients. We'll get into talking about that a little bit more with individual organisms. But okay, moving up to get this over with. Ecosystem, moving up beyond ecosystem, I think is probably biome that comes next.
It's ecosphere.
Ecosphere. Well, before that though, I'm going to say, well, they say ecosphere, but I say biome, because we have to talk about what a biome is, right? There's a lot of different ecosystems that you all know about. Like I said, we've been talking about this since you were in 3rd grade, and so, you got rainforest, and you've got desert, and whatever. Wouldn't that be nice?
Sick.
What the hell is going on? Alright, I'm really almost done, so I want to finish up with this. Biome is just so like a particular place, like this is does anybody know for the name for the kind of forest that we live in, where the leaves fall off the trees, and you get seasonal stuff, and some animals hibernate, and deciduous forest, right? Very good. Deciduous forest is what we live in, and so you look outside, that's a deciduous forest, but the deciduous forest as a concept, including all of the deciduous forests all over the world, including the ones in Western Europe and wherever the heck else they have deciduous forests, mainly Western Europe. Some parts of Asia actually have deciduous forests, and that is the biome. That's just the collection of similar ecosystems around the world. It's the general term for it. Instead of like a specific place, it's the ecosystem, because it's the specific living and non-living things in a specific place. And as we said yesterday, this bucket could be an ecosystem, but anything can be an ecosystem. But there are certain name brand ecosystems that you find all around the world, and that is what we call a biome. And then we get into these lame terms that they used, ecosphere and biosphere, which are really just a collection of all the ecosystems. It's the biosphere is like all the living matter, all the living stuff on the Earth. And then I guess we say planet and solar system and galaxy and universe, multiverse, all that. But that is not in the purview of this course, and so we will not talk about the multiverse, all those other fascinating things, because it is time to get on with our lives. Thank you very much. All right. Let's turn that off. Very good. Very good.